Welcome back to Roots and Rights, Securing Tomorrow. I'm your host, Attorney Greg Robinson, and today we're talking about one of the most misunderstood but powerful tools in estate planning and business succession, life insurance. Now, if you caught our recent episode on family business legacy, you'll remember how essential clear transitions are. But what actually makes those transitions smooth? That's where life insurance really earns its stripes when it comes to buy-sell agreements. So let's break down what happens when business partners don't have a buy-sell agreement. I've seen too many folks assume their families or partners will just figure it out after someone passes away. Spoiler alert, it rarely goes that way. Without a buy-sell plan, ownership can get caught up in probate, bank accounts frozen, decision-making in limbo, creditors circling. It's not good. Buy-sell agreements fix that by creating a roadmap for ownership transfer. And here's the kicker. That roadmap needs a way to actually fund the buyout. That's where life insurance steps in. Let's talk mechanics for a second. There are two main ways we see life insurance used in buy-sell agreements: cross-purchase and entity purchase structures. In cross-purchase, each owner gets a policy on the other. If one passes, the survivor uses the payout to buy those shares. It's great for small partnerships, but it gets tricky and expensive when you've got several owners, since everyone's got to have policies on everyone else. Now, entity purchase, sometimes called stock redemption, is where the business itself takes out policies on the owners and uses the payout to buy the departing partner's piece. That's simpler for bigger teams, but after the recent Connolly case brings up some important estate tax questions. The value of the insurance payout can actually increase the company's value for estate tax purposes. So it's all about picking the right structure for your situation and, honestly, reviewing these documents pretty often. Let me give you a real example. There was a family business out in Alabama a while back. 3 siblings running a manufacturing company, folks right out of my neck of the woods. They had a key person insurance policy written into their buy-sell agreement. When the oldest unexpectedly passed away, instead of fighting over shares or waiting months for probate, the business received the payout and used it to buy the ownership back from the estate. That meant the surviving siblings kept control, and the family of the sibling who passed got a fair value quickly. It avoided a lot of bad blood and chaos. I've seen the opposite too, believe me, but when it's done right, it just works. So whether you go with a cross-purchase or entity structure, and regardless of your company's size, the whole idea is to ensure liquidity, the cash on hand at that crucial moment, so no one's forced to sell the business or fight over its future. And if you want things to stay friendly in the family or among business partners, don't skip this step. I'll tell you, those insurance premiums are cheap compared to the cost of a court battle or a forced liquidation. Now, switching gears just a bit, let's zoom out from business partners and talk about the ways life insurance protects families when the unexpected happens. One of the main struggles I see is that after a loved one passes, there's often not enough liquidity, enough cash on hand to pay estate taxes or settle debts. That can push families into selling off precious assets just to cover obligations. I mean, nobody wants to see the family farm or home sold off at a bargain just to pay a tax bill that could have been funded by a policy premium. Here's how it works. With the right life insurance policy in place, heirs have immediate access to funds without waiting on probate. That means they can pay the bills and taxes, keep the family home, and avoid those heartbreaking forced sales. Not only does that keep families out of court, it helps them avoid the stress of rapid-fire estate sales. You know, as I talked about in our episode on probate pitfalls, probate delays aren't just about paperwork. They impact real people in real time, facing some of life's biggest challenges. Let me share a story. This was a blended family from the Gulf Coast, and the gentleman who passed had children from a prior marriage and stepchildren. His estate was mostly the family home, plus some retirement savings. Using a life insurance solution, we were able to structure things so his biological children received cash from the policy, and the stepchildren kept the family residence. No one was forced to sell, and everyone felt their inheritance was fair, even with complicated dynamics. Life insurance, in this case, became the tool to equalize inheritances, especially in scenarios where dividing up tangible assets just doesn't work. And look, this isn't just about taxes or debts. It's about striking the balance in families, blended, business owning, or otherwise, when emotions are already running high. I always tell folks, think ahead about what each child or heir values, and use life insurance proceeds to solve the who gets what problem. No plan is perfect, but a little clarity up front can keep loved ones from fighting over grandma's house, dad's tools, or a family business that's been in the family for generations. All right, as we look beyond today and tomorrow, life insurance takes on an even bigger meaning for legacy and generational planning. This isn't just about covering debts or smoothing over one transfer of ownership. It's about setting up next level stability for your grandkids and beyond. Now, one advanced tool I use in this area is the Irrevocable Life Insurance Trust, or ILIT. With an ILIT, the life insurance policy is owned by a trust, not by you personally. Why does this matter? Well, it keeps the insurance payout out of your taxable estate, meaning those funds can go straight to your heirs, faster and with better protection from creditors or ex-spouses. And, unlike some other strategies, an ILIT isn't tangled up with probate. That can be a game changer for families with complex situations or potential tax exposure. I've worked with several minority business owners, folks building something brand new for the next generation. One client, a barber actually, who started his business from scratch, layered a life insurance plan with an ILIT to guarantee his kids got a financial head start if anything happened to him. That's the kind of long-term thinking we covered a few episodes back when talking about legacy and asset protection. Sometimes the difference between leaving something and building lasting generational wealth comes down to locking in these structures early, before life throws its curveballs. Honestly, I see my own story echoed in so many of my clients, mentoring young entrepreneurs, making sure they understand. Wealth isn't just about dollars. It's about setting up systems that work whether you're here or not. An ILIT, paired with other planning tools, means your legacy isn't vulnerable to avoidable taxes, creditors, or family disputes. And as we've talked about a lot on this show, putting these pieces together takes good advice and regular reviews. Laws change. The recent Connolly case is a perfect reminder, and what worked 5 years ago could be a liability today. That's why I'm always urging my clients, and all of you listening, make reviewing your insurance, your trusts, all your documents, a habit. So, that's our deep dive into life insurance as a strategic planning tool, not just for today's issues, but to build a sustainable, secure foundation for generations. If you've got questions or want to hear more about tools like ILITs, drop me a line or check out past episodes. We're all about practical, real-world solutions here. Until next time, keep your legacy front and center. And remember, legal solutions should always be rooted in your culture and built for your future.